Hello, I love you, won't you tell me your name? Hello, I love you, let me jump in your game. I don't know why I felt like doing that, but I did. Oh my gosh, I went through a period of time where I listened to The Doors so much when I was younger. I was a teenager. And that song just popped into my head right when I started recording. And I've tried out this microphone several times to see if it could improve my voice, and it doesn't. So I am aware that my voice isn't the most beautiful thing, but I could probably do folk singing, you know? But I do like singing, and I write songs. So when I finally get this instrument down, you watch, you wait. Whoever you are. Hello, I love you, won't you tell me your name? Hi, I'm Julie. What's your name? Leave a comment with your name so I'll know. Let's pull some cards. Let's see what's going on. General energies of the collective that chooses to watch this whenever they choose to watch this. I'm going to use this. The AE Weight Tarot. I suppose it's probably a knockoff, but it's a holographic knockoff. So, how are things? What a beautiful life we're living, huh? And this is the autumn season in New England where I live, and the foliage, my driveway, anytime I look outside, going for a ride, everything is so freaking beautiful. I really love it. I really am blessed. The universe has given me a couple small challenges to, I guess, let me see how I can adjust to things not going as I expect or plan, and to see how well I can adjust. And I was quite impressed with myself on the adjustments I was able to make. So, if you feel like you're being given some small challenges that you have to adjust to, or maybe they're big, remember that you can adjust. Remember that there is a solution. And if you can surrender to that, if you can surrender the struggle, the fear, and the pain, or be present with those before you surrender, you can look to the solution, and that's going to feel a lot better. We've got the Four of Cups in reverse. So I think that you find yourself in gratitude as well. Understanding that you have a lot to be grateful for, and maybe the things that you've lost are taking a back seat, or you're not letting them be the forefront of everything. Right? Like, waiting for another card to come out and talk to us. Here we've got the Three of Cups in reverse. Some of us may be unwilling to celebrate publicly because we've noticed that sometimes when you're doing well, other people don't seem as happy for you as they could be. Which could be disappointing. Sometimes they even try to tear you down. You know? So maybe there's a lot of like silent celebration, you know, internal celebration. Maybe for those of you who haven't celebrated yet, it's time. Let's celebrate how far you've come. There's a spiritual teacher called Jason Estes who once in one of his videos pointed out the importance of celebration as a way to set the foundation for where you are. And the foundation is where you can move forward from and build from, right? So, you know, I have no proof, but I just felt what he said as truth, and I've been doing it since. It feels like, energetically, yes, that makes sense to me, that I'm solidifying the progress I've made when I celebrate it, and I say, I did that, and I recognize it in myself, you know? It could be the smallest thing. You got out of bed today. You made your bed today. Not really. I'm not excited about making my bed yet until I get my regular bedding on there. This is just some temporary stuff that I was given. The Ten of Swords in reverse, yeah. Leaving behind anyone who isn't for you. You know, slipping out the back door silently. Like, oh, I can't help but notice you haven't wanted to celebrate my wins. I'll be seeing ya. See you in passing. Seven of Cups in reverse. Yeah, these are solid wins. I mean, this is something worth celebrating, right? Like, even if it's, when I say solid, even if it's just your emotional state stabilizing, that's solid. That's solid progress. If you once found yourself dysregulated and you've come to a place where you're maybe mostly in equilibrium, or you can find your way back there pretty easily, that is a beautiful thing. And no more are you spending time in those scenarios of what if and all the bad things that have happened or could happen, right? It's like, now you can live in the moment. Now you're in presence. Now you receive your intuitive prompts and take action on those. So there isn't the fear of what's happened in the past. You don't have the preconceived notion about how it's going to turn out, because you know that every round is a fresh perspective. It's a new chance. The past does not have to repeat itself if we stop telling the stories of it. The future does not have to be a scary place just because the past was. The future is what we make it, and we make it what it is by what we are feeling in this moment, in presence. So if we start going into those scenarios and worries about the past, that's how we create it into the future. So the fact that we've gotten to a point where we don't need to relive and revisit those things, it's gorgeous, it's beautiful, it's freedom. And I don't know about you, but when I say the word freedom, tears come to the back of my eyes. Sometimes they could come out. Because freedom to me is it. It's where it's at. It's all that I've based everything that I've ever done on. It's the want to be free. We got the Three of Cups in reverse again. I want to clarify that. Please clarify the Three of Cups in reverse. I have to wet my fingers every time because this winter weather also can dry out my skin a bit. And the cards are harder to shuffle then. King of Cups in reverse. Is there a place where you've been taught that it's not okay to celebrate when other people are suffering? Does it feel wrong to celebrate when there's still suffering? When there's a part of your heart that still hurts? That you haven't recognized yet, that you've been putting on the back burner, that maybe need you to bring it forward? Is there a part of your heart that's been hurt that caused you to stop dreaming? Is that why you're not thinking of the future? So some of us, some of you have not been able to dream of the future or care about it because out of apathy, because of a heartbreak in the past. Maybe even swore not to get involved in love again. Maybe you don't think it's possible for you. You're not willing to even see it as a possibility. Well, just know that if you can surrender all the stories about why you're in the energy you're in and just be present with the energy that you're in, be the one who can love yourself through whatever apathy, whatever disappointment, whatever heartbreak, whatever, third-party situation where, there was, something where someone broke your heart specifically, maybe even, went behind your back kind of thing. Yeah. So, yes, for someone or some of you, there has been a deliberate betrayal, and you've been carrying the burden of it, and that's why you haven't been dreaming of the future. Well, it's interesting, right? Because I started this reading by talking about how great it is to be present. And maybe I needed to point that out to you so that you could see the contrast or feel the contrast between where you are and what that freedom feels like. So that you would have the motivation to be reminded, to know that you can let go of these burdens, that of things that happened in the past. They won't always have to repeat and be that way. But what experiences that you went through did show you something about yourself. They did make you feel certain things. So can you be present with those feelings? Be the one who can love yourself through the feelings. Maybe you've been told that it's not manly or it's not appropriate. Maybe certain people haven't allowed for you to feel certain things by deeming it not worthy of worrying about, that you should just move on, that it's not that bad, or whatever it may be. If you feel it, it's your responsibility to take care of it. And care of it means being present with it. And it doesn't mean it's not going to camp out with you forever. Trust me. Feelings are like waves of energy. And the only reason they'll stick around for longer is when you resist them, because you've put a wall up to them. So they're just hanging out behind that wall, staying there until you let the wall down and let them into your heart and be with them. Then they'll move right through. Your heart alchemizes things automatically. So anywhere you've put up resistance to a feeling, it means you're carrying that feeling behind a wall. Probably intuitive people can feel it in your energy. They can see it. They can see the burdens. They can see your coping mechanisms that you're using to avoid feeling it. They might have even taken space from you because it's uncomfortable to be around in some cases. You might find that people are not wanting to spend time celebrating with you because of the burdens that you're carrying just in your energy. If you're drawn to people who are energetically sensitive, like for me personally, I won't spend a lot of time with people who are not taking care of themselves and taking responsibility for their feelings, because their feelings are still there, like little crying babies in their energy body that they won't pay attention to. And so for me to be around that, I used to be around it and try to rescue their little screaming babies through talking to them, or through pointing something out to them, or through asking them a question, or through doing a reading for them. But if somebody hasn't asked me for that, then they're not going to be receptive to it, is what I've realized. So when somebody hasn't asked me, now, I don't do that. And if I find myself in the presence of people who are carrying a lot of that, everyone carries some, but some carry it to the degree where they're completely in the lack mindset, totally in a victim state, and feeling like it's everybody else's fault, and not willing to take responsibility for caretaking themselves for whatever reason. And it's not that I'm looking down on them or blaming them. I'm just simply saying that means their energy is very heavy. And for someone who can see that, it's hard to watch, It's hard to watch somebody who is in suffering, who has not been able to take responsibility for that in themselves, and who has a bunch of walls up with their screaming baby parts trying to get their attention constantly, and they're either like drinking, drugging, running away, watching television on a screen, blaming somebody, complaining, telling the same story over and over again about whatever, just succumbing to it, not realizing that it's literally a fragment of their energy that they've walled off and who is waiting to be rescued. So that's what it takes, is to look at your wall, to acknowledge the energy's there, to validate why it's there. Oh, why did I push you away? I guess because Mom shamed me for my overwhelming emotions and acted like it wasn't okay to feel things. So now I've been pushing you away so that I wouldn't be bad and unloved and unlikable. But I guess you're not going to shut up, and I guess I'm going to need to let you in. It's like, so validating why it's there, right? And then accepting that it's there. Okay, I accept that I am a human being and I do have feelings, and maybe Mom was wrong about the fact that I shouldn't feel what I feel. Maybe Mom didn't understand that everyone's different, and everyone has a different degree of feeling, and everyone has different things to feel through their experiences here on Earth. Can I love this part of me that feels that? Can that part of me be welcomed back in because that part of me is worthy of my love? The part of me that feels that thing, that's crying in pain with that thing. Yes, that part of me can join me. And that part of me is joining the whole me who has survived everything that we've been through, that I've been through up to this point. The whole me that can certainly handle processing and being present with and loving myself through this emotion. Now, for some people who are not used to feeling things and who have a lot of blocks and pushing things away, it might feel intimidating, and you might feel scared that it's never going to end. Because it is true that once you rescue one of those parts of you, a lot more of them are going to want your attention too. And they're going to press and get louder too and say, how about me? How about me? And it might behoove you to lay in the bathtub with Epsom salts and crystals and just let yourself cry for, some hours every night, for as long as it takes, to be with the parts of yourself that you haven't yet been with and loved. Because those people who are carrying a lot of those burdens, it's each of our responsibility to take care of them, Like, I can't do it for people. I used to manipulate energy in a way that I would take people's energetic burdens away from them. But I learned that it's not appropriate to do. So I won't do it unless there's some sort of dire emergency and that my angelic realm tells me that I should. Other than that, it's each of our responsibility, and we each can do it. So I encourage everybody, if you're in a state where you haven't loved the parts of yourself and they are pushing on you, and you know it, just be with them. That's all they want. They're not going to overwhelm you. They're not going to make you a mushy, emotional mess. You will eventually stop crying. And it's such a beautiful thing to become whole again. Because as you love the little parts of yourself that are out there crying on the outskirts behind a wall that you made out of a coping mechanism, you get more and more self-loving, more and more confident, more and more strong, more and more capable, more and more knowing yourself, knowing your strengths, knowing your weaknesses, knowing what is valuable to you. It's just, isn't that the state you want to live life in, you know? So some of the group watching this may be already there, and that's how they did it. Maybe they did it through another method, and I'd love to hear about it. Or some of you are actually on the road to doing it, and you need to hear about people who have done it as well. So it is completely possible. This is the evolution of humanity. This is what we're all doing. We're all becoming sovereign again. We've experienced this level of imbalanced relating, you know, and we've experienced the push, the pull, the victim, the savior, the hero, the, you know, the weak, the strength, like that. Those are bad examples. The last two, scratch those. But we've experienced the seesaw, or the pull and the push that happens with trying to relate for our worth or for our power over other people. And actually our worth is inherent, and you learn that, and you know that very well when you collect all the parts of yourself that don't let you see it yet. Because while you have a wall up and there's a piece of your energy on the other side crying for your attention, you see life through the lens of that wall. Everything that you look at in life is tinted by that wall. That energy that's on the other side is not really escaping you. You're not really escaping it. Like I said, other intuitives can see it. It weighs on your energy. It causes you to cope with life instead of living life in presence. And eventually, you know, your body starts to break down and feel ill and so forth because of the energy needing your attention and trying to get louder and louder to get your attention. It's pretty cool how it all works. We have a beautiful immune system built into our souls, which causes us to have experiences that match the energy we have so that we can see it, so that we can learn what we came to learn from the energy that we have. So if we remain stubborn and refuse to collect the parts of our energy that are pressing on, and we keep our walls up, and we keep rebuilding walls and coping, that will be a very unfulfilling life. Well, by the time we get to the end of it and we look back, you know, there might be, what if there's a part of us that says, oh, I wish I just let that wall down. I wish I just got brave. I wish I just had the courage to feel that feeling and be present. I wish I just experimented a little bit, you know? Because all the experiences that you've had, even the ones that caused suffering, even the ones that were overwhelming or confusing, lend towards what you're here to do as a soul on earth. You came to do it. You're going to do it. And it's going to press on you until you rescue those parts so they can come do it with you. And if you try to do it without those parts, you probably won't know everything you need to know for the job. Those are important key components of what you're here to do. So it's okay. It's okay to be where you are, right where you are, no matter where you are, is the appropriate place for you to begin or to continue on or to celebrate how far you've come. Okay. We've got the Tower in reverse, and kind of what I felt on that is like, whether we do this or not, we're going to do this, you know? Life is set up, if you do astrology, that you know the planet Saturn. And Saturn is the energy that creates our structure. And Saturn is also the energy that assures that we make progress. And at certain times in our lives, Saturn presses on us in such a way that it either returns our rewards for the work that we put in, or crumbles things to ensure that we put in the work where we need to. So the Tower in reverse is just kind of saying, like, you may not realize, but the comfort zones that you've created in order to avoid feeling the things that you put behind the walls, that comfort zone is not going to last forever. Okay? And this isn't a threat. Please don't be scared. You've already survived. If you're over 28 years old, then you've already survived some sort of Saturn return in your chart. If you're over 50, you've survived 2 of them. So it's not like you can't handle what Saturn has to dish out. You know, these are life experiences that we can handle. It's not like, you know, the boogeyman's going to come and scare you into action or anything. It's just going to be a life experience that you can survive, that there is a solution for, but that will prompt you into taking some action on some of the things that you needed to as a soul in order to complete what you were meant to complete. So imagine if, like, you needed to complete certain things as a soul and you found yourself afraid, because it can be very scary, and humans are set up in such a way that we can get fear lodged in our system and then act from that for a long time and be just in survival. So if you wanted to assure that you didn't stay stuck there, which is a pretty normal thing for a human to do, we want to be comfortable, we want to be safe, so of course we're going to set up comfort zones and safety mechanisms to make sure that we don't have to face certain difficulties. But as a soul, we also needed to learn certain things. So as a soul, of course, we set it up so that at certain times something would happen that would prompt us on our journey. You know, if you look at my life, I can see when my Saturn return came around, it's like I lost everything. I was meant to be pursuing matters of a spiritual nature. I was meant to open my knowledge towards this topic, and I hadn't done that at all. Not even a little bit. I was completely traumatized and totally stuck in it. And my whole life was swept away, basically. And I'm talking job, kids, car, house, boyfriend, everything. And you might think, like, damn, you know, like, what are you going to do then? Like, you're gonna get through it, right? You're going to get through it. That's what you're going to do. You're going to start building again. And you're going to learn a lot about yourself. You're going to learn your strengths. You're going to learn your weaknesses. You're going to learn what's important to you. You're probably going to make some mistakes. I made a lot of mistakes. But I learned from my mistakes, you know? Mistakes is sold to us as a terrible, awful thing that we shouldn't be doing through some of the programming we get through punishment and reward parenting methods that have been implemented. And what you actually learn is that mistakes are meant for learning, and they have to be allowed. They're not wrong. It doesn't make me lesser because I learned through making mistakes. I needed to make mistakes in order to learn everything I needed to learn. I needed to know what works, and I needed to know what doesn't work. That's really valuable. We got the Badger, perseverance, dig in and see it through to completion. I mean, how can you not fall in love with the honey badger? Sorry about the reflection. My TV is up above the screen here, so you can see the reflection of Roku, I think. I watched a documentary on the honey badger once and fell in love with the honey badger, because the honey badger documentary was about a man who was trying to cage a honey badger, and that honey badger was relentless on trying to escape. Relentless. Never, ever, 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 ever giving up. Honey badgers are also known for being very fierce, very self-protective, very willing to not back down in a fight. This card is not talking about any of that, but I'm just saying, like, that's how tough a honey badger is, and that's the energy that you have access to see you through. Like, a honey badger is going to preserve their life and who's going to complete what they came to complete. And so aren't you. And so aren't I. And so aren't we all. And there are some key tools that are helpful to us along this way. So make sure you're utilizing your tools, and if you don't feel like you have the right tool, ask. One thing that is true about this universe is ask and you shall receive. Ask for answers, you'll start getting them. You'll get signs, you'll get symbols, you'll get the right video in front of you at the right time. You'll get the right wise person standing next to you in line. Whatever it is, the universe will bring you the answers if you start asking the questions. And once you start asking the questions, there's no way that you're going to not get there, because everything leads you to another thing. Like, the journey can be really fun if you're a curious person who's willing to have an open mind and willing to see things from another perspective. So before you move on to all of that, it is important to honor where you've been. So if the reason that you are not looking at the past is because it was so painful, there might still be parts of you that are in pain looping there that need your love. So at least look at those. You know, it's okay to look back for those reasons. It's absolutely important to collect the parts of yourself that need your love, that are looping in feelings, that are creating coping mechanisms for you to live out real time, and avoiding things in life that probably are meant for you to go towards, keeping you in fear about them so that you avoid them, when really all you need to do is be present with those pained parts of you, which are completely valid, no matter what it is, no matter who told you what about it. If it's your feeling, it's your responsibility. If it's your feeling, it's valid. No one else has to validate it for you. No one has to agree with you. No one has to think it's worthwhile for you. You have to. Just start experimenting if you don't believe me. It will work. Just be present with your unloved feelings about your own self, and you will see the magic that happens. It's so worth it. It's so worth it. Remember, I started this recording with the Doors song, Hello, I Love You, Won't You Tell Me Your Name? And maybe this is how you greet those feelings that you haven't met yet in yourself. The ones that are kind of pressing on you, knocking on the door, wanting to get your attention. Giving you reasons and experiences in life that cause you an opportunity to feel them again and again and again. I posted another video today about how I had a shadow aspect. So this would have been one of my fragments that I had pushed away with a wall. And it was from childhood, a time when I felt disappointed, but I couldn't process disappointment, so I pushed it away. And I developed coping mechanisms to avoid feeling disappointed ever again. Now, my coping mechanisms, first of all, weren't the healthiest, but also the fact that I wouldn't let myself feel disappointed caused me to consistently, since childhood, always attract situations that would disappoint me in order to have the opportunity to feel disappointed finally. But because my coping mechanism disallowed me from feeling disappointed, it took quite a long time for me to finally realize it, to finally see the pattern. It was when I had cleared out a lot of other patterns, and it was like the one in front of my face that was really loud and getting louder, where I finally got to see, what I was doing as a coping mechanism, and then why I was doing it. And then I was able to be with that feeling of disappointment. And the moment that I was with that feeling of disappointment, I've trained my energy body to process very quickly. So it may take longer or shorter for other people, and everything's personal. But for me, it happens very quickly. And my body and everything just instantly started feeling better and freer. And I knew that I had cleared one of those walls and integrated one of those unloved parts of myself, so that I could be free of always needing someone or some experience to disappoint me in order to give me another opportunity to rescue that part of myself. So it was like I cleaned up my hologram, My holographic experience no longer has to return the energy of disappointment to me, because I have been with and integrated the energy of disappointment. I'm the person who can love myself even when I'm disappointed. Right? Okay. I'm just seeing one more card before we go. Let's see. Death card in reverse. Death card in reverse. You may be reluctant to let some of these patterns die. You know, they've kept you safe. They've kept you comfortable. You know who you are in this pattern. You know what to expect in this pattern. Well, guess what? You're not always going to know what to expect, because it's going to stop responding the way it always has. Something's going to happen where it's not going to be as effective, if that's what needs to happen in order to let you break it. But if you want to get ahead of the curve, if you want to get ahead of the turmoil that would have to ensue in order to get you uncomfortable in the pattern, then maybe take a chance and experiment on breaking out of it. You can always go back to it if it doesn't work out, you know? But these patterns you're meant to alchemize and evolve out of the patterns of coping mechanisms which were there and designed in order to help you avoid feeling certain things or experiencing certain things that were fearful or confusing or deemed unwanted. If you can create or achieve neutrality on a topic, that's your real freedom. I believe it was Eleanor Roosevelt that had a quote, "Nothing is either good or bad. Thinking makes it so." You know? I know. And I know that because it's one of the laws of the universe. And if you can create 0 point on any energy, you integrate it, you escape it. You don't have to live under the energy pressing on you in any way. Everything that's true, the opposite is also true. Okay, so let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if you've tried out some experiments, how it's going for you. Feel free to start up a conversation, give me another topic or a question that we should talk about next time. Until then.